Sorry, Yusek Wimpy, Yusek Fontebella, I'm gonna ask you this question. Iba yung national energy emergency sa national emergency. Correct, di ba?
Yes.
In a national emergency, pwede mag-trigger ang price ceiling. In a national energy emergency, hanggang monitoring lang tayo. Is that correct?
Monitoring in what sense? I'm sorry.
It's in one of the provisions in the EO na kailangan mag-monitor tayo ng pagtaas ng presyo. Pero hindi siya price ceiling. So in a state of calamity or state of national emergency, pwede tayong magkaroon ng price ceiling sa basic commodities and essential goods. Hinahanap ko sa National Energy Emergency EO, yung provision na yun, hindi ko mahanap. No? So I want to clarify. Ngayon na may national energy emergency, pumapasok na rin ba yung price ceiling natin for basic commodities and essential goods? Will you be able, or will DOF be able to answer this? Kasi yung isang rason kung bakit tayo nagtawag ng national emergency is to put the price ceiling on essential goods and basic commodities. Ang nilabas ninyo is national energy emergency, which I know addresses the supply issues, but I don't think it addresses the concern when it comes to basic goods, basic necessities and basic commodities and essential goods. I want to clarify, meron ba tayo ngayong price ceiling sa essential goods and basic commodities? Meron ba? Yes, Asek Cancio.
No price freeze as of now, Mr.
So,
Chair.
walang price freeze
For
as of
basic
now.
necessities.
So, you need to call a full state of national emergency to have a price freeze. At hindi yun ang tinawag natin. Ang tinawag natin, national energy emergency. Is that correct, Asek Malyari?
For now, Mr. Chair, it's specific to the energy sector.
Okay. So, nung Tuesday, marami ko sa amin ang nagbungkahi na magtawag ng state of national emergency primarily for the price freeze on essential goods and basic commodities. Kasi ayaw natin makita na yung merkado magtutuloy-tuloy yung pagtaas ng presyo ng bilihin dahil sa pagtaas ng presyo ng diesel at gasolina. So, as much as natuwa kami na tinawag na ito para yung supply natin ay magkakaroon ng malaking leeway, no, para sa gobyerno at para sa private companies na makapag-replenish ng supply. Personally, palagay ko po at palagay siguro ng marami ko sa amin, kulang pa dahil ang hinahanap rin ng taong bayan, hindi magtuloy-tuloy yung pagtaas ng presyo sa mga palengke, sa supermarket, sa grocery. Bago pa po nangyari yung gera, pakiramdam na ng maraming tao, mataas na yung presyo ng bilihin. Suddenly, in 1 month's time, ang laki ng tinaas ng presyo ng diesel at gasolina. DA, is DA here? Yung DA nag-present na posibleng tumaas ng 100 yung manok, yung baboy, at kung ano-ano pa, kung hindi tayo aaksyon. So we're looking for this. No, may I know why we stopped short? I know Yusek Adriano, I'm sorry to ask you, but nagtaas ka ng kamay, so ikaw tinatanong ko. Do you know the reason why we stopped short of calling for a emergency and therefore a price freeze sa mga basic goods? Do we know why?
Mr. Chair, to be honest, I'm not...
Okay, Yusek Wimpy, do we know why we stopped short of calling for a state of emergency? Kasi pag state of emergency po, pwede tayong mag-price freeze. Hindi tayo nag-price freeze dito, hanggang monitoring lang. No? Do you know why? Maybe there's a wisdom behind it kung ba't hindi tayo nagtawag ng national emergency, Yusek Wimpy? Would you know?
I cannot.
You cannot know. Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Sige.
Chair, if I may, Senator Bang.
Go ahead.
This time, I will defend them and those who are here. To be fair to them, the USEC and the ASECs, they would not be in a position to answer why it was limited to an energy emergency. But I join you in that. Kaya nga, we always say, kailangan pinapadala yung cabinet level, especially since we are in a crisis. But they opt to send USEC and ASEC, fine, but thank you for being here. but we cannot force them to answer. Hindi naman sila ang nagbuo ng komite.
Mr. Chair, may I have just a few minutes with the indulgence of Senators Loren and Marcoleta? Okay. Kasi I've run out of time. No? So, gusto ko lang po tanungin si Yusek Adriano, napag-usapan niyo po ba yung VAT? Because we had, and maybe later we can ask the energy companies their position on the suspension of VAT. May nagsasabi na magugulo daw yung mga libro ninyo or something, no? Pag na-suspend yung VAT. But in our first hearing on Tuesday, Senator Loren, myself, other senators here, talked about a follow-up measure na hindi lang excise tax, but powers for the President to suspend or lower VAT for petroleum products. Napag-usapan po ito kasi mas malaki ang pwedeng mabawas nito kesa sa excise tax, no? Was this discussed, Yusek Adriano?
Mr. Chair, yes, it was even discussed during the hearing of the excise tax bill. What we mentioned during that hearing is that exempting the fuel, particularly with VAT, may have some counter results to the goal of reducing the prices. Remember, when we have the VAT system is relatively complicated. It has an input and an output VAT. So if the output is exempt and you have inputs wherein you paid the VAT, then you cannot claim your inputs. So for instance, in the case of the oil industry, they have machineries, they have trucks, etc., that are subject to VAT. But since the fuel, the output is not subject to VAT, they cannot claim those input VAT. And hence, what will probably happen is that those input VAT na naipit, ipapass on nila yun doon sa presyo.
Okay. Let me ask, does anyone speak for the energy company, for the oil companies, or tag-iisa kayo, no? So maybe very quickly, do you have a position on the suspension of VAT? Kasi kayo po yung binabanggit na mahihirapan daw ang industriya, mahihirapan yung mga kumpanya, masyadong komplikado. Napag-usapan niyo po ba kung mag-suspend o mag-lower ng VAT ang gobyerno? Kung gaano po kalaki ang epekto nito, Mr. Nepomuceno or Ms. Kiambao? Sorry, is Ms. Tanya speaking for the industry here? For the small players. Sige, let's go, small to big ba tayo? O sige, si Ms. Tanya, and then maybe the representatives from Shell and Petron.
Thank you for that time. In our position, when we were discussing it with the DOE and one time in Congress, we mentioned that it's easier for us to implement reduced prices when VAT is removed. Because what we were suggesting is, we don't remove it on the bottom, we remove it upon arrival of the cargo. Hindi na kami magbabayad ng VAT. And then it answers your request for immediate implementation on the pump prices.
So, Ms. Samiliano,
Yes.
so ang sinasabi mo, yung pagtanggal ng VAT dun sa point of importation.
Yes, because once in the point of importation, you don't have the VAT. It's not part of your cost anymore. Whereas when you do the exemption or the suspension on excise, it's part of your cost. So you have to consider your inventory. But if it's VAT, if I don't have the VAT input, I won't have the alternative.
So, simple
VAT
question.
output.
Simple question. Kung magtanggal tayo ng VAT at the point of importation, will this mararamdaman ba to ng consumer down the line? Kasi may...
Yes, because it will reduce your cost.
Yes. So, ang VAT ng petroleum is ano ba ngayon? 12?
12%.
So, yung 12%, kunyari, nagtanggal kayo ng 12%.
If it's 100, it's justifiable that in the next movement, you don't increase by 12 pesos.
Will all of that 12% be felt by our consumers?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Shell and Petron?
Yes, so we are in favor. Actually, from a technical point of view, the VAT would be faster to implement, but indeed it should be end-to-end, yeah? So at source until end. Also, the VAT is a percentage. Therefore, the higher the price, the higher the VAT becomes, actually. Yeah,
Okay.
so there is actually...
Thank you, Ms. Kiambao Osial. I'm sorry, my eyesight is not that good. Mr. Nepomuceno, do you agree with them?
Yes, we
Okay.
concur.
Okay.
And that is the industry position.
Okay, yun naman pala. So, according to the industry, hindi sila mahihirapan kung magtanggal ng VAT at the point of entry. Clear? Okay. So, Mr. Chairman, I'm sure mapag-uusapan natin to sa Mayo, and we ask DOF to also help us compute, no, at makita natin itong posibleng pwedeng tulong ulit sa ating mga kababayan. Okay. Let me end with expectations of support. Yung ating transport sector po nandito. In the last hearing, DSWD said, who is the DSWD representative here? Yes, Yusek Sulit. In the last hearing po, sabi ni Secretary Gatchalian, lahat ng jeepney driver, tricycle driver, bus driver, TNVS, PUV, mabibigyan ng tulong. No? Nandito po yung representative ng Manibela at ng iba pang mga transport groups. Ano pong expectation ng transport workers mula po sa gobyerno pagdating sa tulong na ito?
Thank you, Your Honor. As mentioned by Secretary Gatchalian the other day, we will provide subsidy to all drivers of tricycles as referred by LGUs, jeepney drivers, motorcycle taxis, and the other common carriers as referred by LTFRB. They will be provided, everyone will be provided.
Okay. Ang concern ko dito is, sa lahat ng mga programa ng gobyerno, whether for farmers, for drivers, lagi pong may lumalapit nagsasabi, Sen, hindi naman kami kasama. Diba? So meaning, yung listahan, napakahalaga, na kompleto yung listahan natin. In this hearing, Yusek Sulit, can you assure us na yung mga listahan natin, kompleto talaga? Hindi lang yung mga organized, hindi lang yung mga kaibigan, o hindi lang yung mga malapit sa mga ahensya, pero talagang komprehensibo yung ating listahan. Mamaya, I'll ask Sir Mar to also speak. Yusek Sulit.
Thank you, Your Honor. The guidelines on the cash relief assistance presupposes that there is a group assessment done by the partner agencies of the DSWD. As you know, Your Honor, in the past, it's always the DSWD doing the assessment. So we do it individual. This time, since time is of the essence and the vulnerability is sector-wide, so it's a whole of government, whole of society approach. So we tap the LGU to do the preparation of the list based from their official records.
Okay, so kailangan nakalista ka sa LGU
Yes,
para
sir,
umabot sa inyo yung listahan.
For the tricycle drivers, sir.
Okay.
For the others, covered by the regulatory authority of the UTR, LTFRB, the list will come from them.
Okay. So pag jeepney, LTFRB.
Yes, sir.
Kapag TNVS, DOTR.
Yes, sir.
Yung TNVS naman kasi may mga kumpanya kaya hindi mahirap hanapin yung listahan. Yung pinaka mahirap siguro yung tricycle driver. Correct, no? Kasi decentralized yung listahan.
Yeah, sa LGUs po siya, Your Honor.
Okay, so sa mga nakikinig sa ating jeepney driver, tricycle driver, TNVS, dapat may expectation sila na may tulong silang makukuha. Is that fair to say, Yusek Sulit?
That is fair, Your Honor.
Kung hindi sila kasama sa listahan, anong gagawin nila?
Yesterday, in-address po ni Secretary Gatchalian yung mga issue nung wala sa listahan. Ang pangako po ng DSWD at sa utos ng Pangulo, we will provide assistance. We will check whatever fast mechanism we can, conduct in order to provide assistance as well. So, yung gagawin po na in-announce kahapon, lalapitan na po ng DSWD at ng DOTR para makita kung bakit wala sa listahan yung mga nagsasabing wala sa listahan.
Okay, Mr. Balbuena, sige po, can you give a comment? Yung tanong ko po kasi, lagi pong may lumalapit pa rin na, Senator, nabigyan yung gantong kaibigan namin pero kami wala, di ba? And this was during the COVID response. No? Meron rin tayong pantawid pasada nung panahon ng COVID at nung umiikot kami nung nakarang kampanya last year, yun yung sinasabi namin ng mga TODA. No? Hindi ho kami kasama sa listahan. So, pwede ho ba kayong magkomento? Yung pagkakompleto ng mga listahan, kailangan po ba ng bagong gawain para mabuo ulit ang mas komprehensibong listahan po para sa ating mga transport workers?
Good day po, distinguished committee and Mr. Chair. Kahapon po, doon pa lang sa ayuda, meron naman po kaming nakuha sama ng loob. Pinapila po maghapon, mainit, gutom, walang tubig, walang maupuan.
Ano pa kung hindi tayo aaksyon? So we're looking for this. No, may I know why we stopped short